it's somewhere between like a little over two to almost $3,000 depending.
Ouch.
So it's
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
so yeah.
my son's just moved into somewhere new, and his is $980 a month. It's just his place though, and he's got 2 bedrooms, which is really nice for him.
That is great. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but it was such a nightmare getting it. He got somewhere else first of all, and when we actually got in there to look properly, there was weird mold everywhere. There was nothing worked properly. The boiler made horrible noises, and in one of the bedrooms in the place, there was a door which went into the neighbour's house,
What?
but it had a lock on it.
That's
But it was a
that's
completely
just
separate
concerning.
property. Yeah,
That's
it's not
very
like it was an old property that had been split. It was, yeah,
That's very weird.
yeah, but it wasn't locked on his side. It was only locked on their side. So we ended up having to get out of the
Yeah,
contract for it.
that seems not good.
No,
Doesn't seem
no.
like
I know I wouldn't be able to sleep in there because it was in the
No.
bedroom.
Oh,
And
no.
just knowing that if they decided to unlock it, they could just walk straight in. So, no, anyway, yeah.
That's bad. That's not a good situation.
Right, I actually need to start the portfolio review and explain everything because
Okay.
I feel like we've already done a portfolio review before, but it was just a general chat we had, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, you told me you gave me some pointers. You were talking about the comic. It was specifically geared to the spaceman stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, and I've got this all organised for us. Apart from me messing up the camera at the start, I've got a segment where we can talk about your comic and stuff after we've gone through the main pointers. I have pointer cards which keep us on track, and I got 3 pages of notes I made beforehand.
Okay.
So this is being recorded, so you don't need to make notes, and I'll send you a summary afterwards in an email and so on. I'm sure you already know this, but the point of the portfolio review is to look at the commercial feasibility of your illustrations and your general workflow and business practice, rather than me sitting there saying, criticising your work and saying, you could use better colours there, or those hands don't look quite right. If you want that, go and find another artist to moan about your artwork, because that's always the best way.
Yeah, that makes
sense. I've got my camera set up. It's a weird one. It's connected going through my phone, but it worked completely fine until I took the cushion out from my seat. That was really uncomfortable, and now it keeps drifting up and cutting off half my head. Anyway. We'll just blame you that this is a weird one and nothing's working properly.
It's because it's in the US. I'm in the US.
Yeah. No, actually, most of the illustrators I do reviews with are US based. Well, hence like me doing them mostly in the evening. Yeah. There's actually about 60% of our members are probably US based.
Okay.
So it's quite more so than UK. Because maybe about 30% UK, then rest of Europe and other places. Right. Okay. Let me just get some background on you, which I probably know most of anyway. How long have you been illustrating professionally?
Since 2012.
2012.
2017 is when I started to actually, kind of make money from it.
Okay, so you're definitely in this for the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And you're completely working full time as an illustrator at the moment. You're not doing another job on the side.
Yeah, no, this is it.
Yeah, cool. Right. So straight in there. Let's go to. Oh no, I'm in the wrong browser. Right. So let's bring you up. I'll share my screen with you in just a moment. Okay, that's a bit odd. I was Googling for you, but your portfolio on higher and low doesn't come up straight away. What comes up is the blog post I did on frequently asked questions for comic book artists.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It is actually so that post did actually get me a job, kind of.
Okay.
So
That's good.
Binary C, he read that and then he saw the actually both things. So he read that and then he saw the 20,000 Leagues piece and he was like,
Okay.
"That's what sold him on it." So.
Right. Let's share my window with you. Hold on. Wrong one. Okay, that is odd. Obviously, I normally you're supposed to use Chrome with Riverside, and I'm using Safari because the camera wouldn't work with Chrome. And then I tried to plug in my spare camera, and the cable's not long enough.
Oh.
So all you could see is up my nostril from a weird angle. And for some reason in Safari, it doesn't allow you to share specific windows. So and hold on, share window, share this window. There we go. We'll go this way then instead. Right. I've got all of the tabs set up in Chrome, but I can't I can't get to them. Oh. I've had to. I normally work on two screens as well, and I've had to pull the other screen to put in the spare camera, which I couldn't get working. You're gonna have to accept my apologies, because after this I'll have to figure out what's going on with all my stuff. The thing is, I've got another 5 or 6 portfolio reviews this week, and I did several last week without any problems. And after the weekend, it seems to have. I don't know whether Chrome's updated or Riverside have updated something, but yeah, nothing seems to want to work properly now. Okay, so let me move you across here. You can see I've got open your portfolio on higher or low. Let's address that quickly. So your featured image, you've got the Peter Pan here. I think it would be a lot more to your benefit if you were to use something a lot more dynamic, because although you've got a definite look to your style, the pieces where you use more dynamic angles seem to be more of your kind of trademark.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's great, but it really doesn't. When people are searching, it doesn't really stand out compared to how a lot of your other pieces would as a featured image. Okay, so you've got a broken resume photo. This one here.
I'll fix that.
Yep. What was my other comments on your portfolio? I think lack of news submissions. Yeah, I think.
How many should I be averaging, do you think?
Well, I'd normally recommend 2 to 3 at least a month.
Okay.
And if you've got nothing you can post because of NDAs or nothing new to post, I would just add something old that you haven't posted before, because you've got plenty of stuff like that. As long as it's decent work, you can say it's an old piece, but generally no one knows the difference. It keeps you present. It keeps you on the homepage. It keeps you going in newsletters, and it means I can keep sharing things on social media. It's just things start to, when you're not submitting news, things tend to slow down a
Out of sight,
bit.
out of mind.
Yeah, exactly that. The thing is with me as well. If I'm managing your news and doing newsletters and stuff, I'm going to have in mind the people that were in them last. So when I've got clients coming through, unless I'm really on the ball and I've had a proper coffee, I do forget people,
Sure.
which is just natural to
Yeah,
do.
that's fine.
But yeah, especially if you're submitting news, it does keep you in mind. I'm just going to swap a cable around so I can move my monitors again. If I got the right one, as long as this doesn't all go wrong, take that one out. And put that one in. And there we go. And let's put you over here. Right. I can see you now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it makes it easier to talk because I'm just without that I'm just talking to the blank screen.
Right.
Yep. Right. Okay. So where are we? In your profile, you're missing the S on the HTTP
Okay.
for your website URL. That was it for your portfolio and hire an illustrator. Right. So let me just open the rest of your odds and ends.
God, I haven't updated the Behance in so long.
You've got it there, so I check it. It's yeah. No, it's good. Just any outlet you can find just to keep things going. So, okay. So my first impression on your website is that I think because of the way your work works, you could do with larger preview images.
That was actually a question I was going to ask you because I think that might be a good idea. I just wasn't sure how to do
Yeah,
that on my end. I have to like look how to.
I think it's adjustable. You can just select the number of columns, and it will instantly increase the size. They're quite narrow as well. They're like that's one thing that's bugging me about Hirerillo at the moment. Is I thought it was a good idea at the time because I've got a good number of illustrators on there, and we don't want to just we wanted to show as many as we could.
Right.
So that's why I went with kind of horizontal images rather than them having them vertically, more like cards.
Right.
It was because so you could squeeze more above the fold. But I think when looking at your portfolio, I think if they were more square, that would help as well, and you give people a more of a proper visual.
Do you think I should still have it in a grid like this, or do you think I should move to like? I think some people I've seen like with Squarespace portfolios, it's just like pieces that are kind of like checkerboard.
Oh, so it's where it's like jigsaw together, like I have with these ones.
Like, would that be
Yeah.
better for the homepage, or is it still better to keep it?
It depends how easy it is to do.
Sure. Yeah.
If there's a module, you use Divi, don't you?
Yeah.
If there's a module there that allows you to do that, yeah, go for it. I think that works well. If it automatically does it all for you, it doesn't take a lot of having to do it manually yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I'd go for that. But I'm thinking that if it was 3 columns across,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
that would. Yeah, that'd give a bit of an overview of your work.
Okay.
The other thing is, I think, yeah, I think on your homepage, I think you could probably do with a few featured images here where it's showing your work in context.
Okay.
So if you've got any real life photography of books or stuff you worked on, the Eagles poster, was that like on bus stands or things like that?
It wasn't, but it was printed out. It was like they handed them out before a game,
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I do have a few of them. I have one in a cheap frame in my living room. I also just this weekend, there's a frame shop on the corner, and he took two of them, and he's gonna frame them up. I'm selling them on consignment.
Okay. Cool.
So if those are in the window, I can take a picture of those.
Yeah. Definitely stuff in context, I think would more entice people to want to work with you because it allows them to instantly see the end product,
Right.
which is what you want. Yeah, you've got your Stanley book. Did you get any copies of that yourself? Yeah. So yeah, if you haven't already, getting some good photos of those, yeah.
And you're saying to just
The,
have those like as a like on a like a slideshow banner or something like on the top or like
yeah, that would work. It's just obviously your homepage is important. That's the people going there first impressions, and it's quite rare unless it's a youngster hiring someone on Instagram that someone hiring an illustrator doesn't go and check out their website, and it'll either cement their confidence in hiring you, or it just kind of takes it to the next level where they know they can see you're a professional.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what else we got on your? Yeah, you could also do with some merchandise, maybe along the bottom.
Okay.
Some bringing that in there because yeah, you need to not forget.
Instead of having like the separate store tab, like bring it so that it's right there because there is a store tab on the top.
Yeah, no, I know the store tab's there, but
no, that's a good idea, especially for the
actually,
brushes too, because that's the brushes are the thing that probably sell the most out of them.
hold on. Just checking my notes. That was the other thing. I kind of went a bit backwards there. Right, so merchandise. I don't feel you're properly utilising your own skills as an illustrator.
Okay.
I feel you could be. What's the best way to put it? Hiring yourself on the odd occasion to create products that you can sell, but have a degree of separation in your head. Have an idea of what would be really good as a product, and then you commission yourself to create that product, and then you take a step back, and then you're back to just selling that product. So don't create a product which is something that you would really like to draw. Create a product of something that you think you could create decent sales from.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the same thing, but I find for a lot of illustrators, they're quite sorry, can't talk today. It's been a really long day. They're really detail orientated, so they'll create illustrations because they enjoy the way the techniques they use to create that illustration and the way certain things look or certain colors being used, rather than looking at it overall of what someone would like to buy and what sort of things sell. So yeah, I think so. You've got several places where I'm assuming these are all places that print on your behalf and then sell the products on your behalf.
Yeah, it's not. There's nothing really that great on. I mean, I like the book, but like most of this is just, you know.
Yeah. So do you keeping it really simple and low cost? Do you have any printing equipment at home?
I mean, I have like a crappy inkjet printer. That's like.
Do you feel you could?
I mean, I could.
Yeah.
Maybe, I could buy like a better one. Could actually.
Yeah. Well, the one you've got, does it print at a high quality, or do you find it comes out so?
I mean, it's like the printing is okay, but it's just like an office printer and it eats ink like crazy. So
okay, so you probably want something a bit more decent.
Yeah, if I was gonna try to actually make something, I'd probably want to get something like professional grade. That was just me.
Yeah.
I can like print documents and not have to like go to FedEx to print stuff.
Yeah, you can probably, and I think any sort of printer, well, in the UK, I find as they'll probably print quite slow, but most printers, if it's not an all-in-one where it's like scanner printer, if it's just a dedicated printer, it's normally aimed at photographers
Right.
for doing photo prints. You can normally get, if you're spending over $200, you normally get museum quality out of it.
Okay.
And then you just need to source the right paper.
Right.
And make sure when you source the right paper, try and get one where you can download a profile for the print, because you'll get really nice, accurate colours then.
Okay.
Most of the big brands do that, and they have it available on their website. You just need to know what you're looking for. But something like that, if you can work out a series of prints that you think will sell well,
Right.
either new stuff or stuff you already have, but then do them on demand.
Right.
So sale, print it, send it.
Okay, that's an idea. The one actually, so there's one idea that I had, because everything's digital that I'm doing at this point, because I don't have the space to like set up both workspaces.
Yeah.
And which means that, like, even though I haven't gone to a convention in a long time, if I were to do that, I can't like do original resells of anything because I don't have originals. There's one artist, I think David Marquez, who I saw that he sells like high quality giclées of pages from his books that are digital, but it's like this is a one and done print, like it's effectively an original, which is an interesting idea. I don't know how. I mean, it's kind of pointless at this point because no one's like clamoring for pages for me, but it's an interesting idea for the future if I'm which the getting a printer would also facilitate that as well, like a nice one.
Yeah. Well, I think with your prints, if they're A4 or larger, I think you're in the realm of maybe $35-$40 on them sort of things.
Okay. Like
yeah, per print.
Okay.
So I don't know whether you know this, but okay, so there's a difference between the UK and the US. If there's actual legal things with it, if there's a print and you say it's a limited edition of 10, yeah, in the UK, you're actually breaking the law if you go and print 12 and try and sell those extra 2.
Okay.
But in the US, there's nothing. You can say whatever you want. You can say this is extremely limited edition. I'm only going to do 1 of 1. But then 2 weeks later, you can do another one, and then another one, and another one. So I know it's nice. Illustrators being able to say it's a limited edition, but you have lots of larger companies who use this all the time, and then it's limited, but only for that run.
Right.
They'll say
we're doing a small batch, or like
and it's 1 to 4,000. But then if it sells well, they'll say I'm doing another batch, and it's another 4,000. Yeah. Whereas in the UK, you can't do that. If you say you're doing a limited run,
that seems logical to me.
I know it is, but the legalities of it, which is why you get some UK artists selling their original prints for actually quite a lot, because there's more collectability of them, especially in the US market.
If it's limited, then it has to actually be limited.
Yeah. Well, the thing is as well, that you're actually breaking the law, but there's, I think, the only place that can fine you is the ICO, who deal with data stuff, but they never have anyone. So it's kind of it's written in law, but it's never been enforced.
Huh.
But it's a weird one.
A new law, or is it just like no one wants to test it?
No, I think it goes back to the early 1900s. It's one of those ones. Okay. It probably existed before America. So yeah. Anyway, I just thought you'd find that interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Right, so that was on my list as well. You don't do original art anymore.
Not really.
No. What about your Inktober stuff?
I mean, I haven't done that in a while, but the last year that I did Inktober, I did it digitally on my iPad to play around with
Okay,
that. It's just sort of happened. It's not like it's not really a choice out of like dislike of traditional. It's more like like I said, like if I had enough, it's a consequence of working out of my bedroom. If I had like an actual
yeah,
studio, I could have you know a digital workstation. But it's just it's not easy. It would take me like 3 hours each time to like switch between getting everything set up. I don't have enough room and also I don't have enough room to store original art either. Like I don't have room for
fair
a raw
enough.
file in here. So if assuming that I get to a point where I eventually can have like a studio that's not my bedroom, then I would probably get back to it. Um, but but yeah, I mean, I'll still like put my do stuff in my sketchbook or whatever, but I don't not often. I don't know. I've gotten to this point of I don't want to say that drawing isn't fun anymore, but I do it so often that like the idea of doing it on my off time, whenever I give myself off time, it's like kind of not even stressful. I'm just like I don't want to, which is like it's just like a yeah. I don't know. It's not good or bad. It's just kind of where I am at the
Yeah, you've probably just you've done a few too many jobs and you've slightly
moment.
lost your enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit.
which is fair enough, but it's just finding the time to do the bits you enjoy again, so you regain that kind of the fire you had for it,
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I do.
Um.
I'm really. I do really like. I haven't posted it yet because it's not printed, but the Necromancer pages. I finished that like a month ago, and I'm really happy. I can show them to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So I had on my list. Okay. So you've got quite a lot of assets, which I don't feel you're taking advantage of.
Okay.
I feel like at a minimum, I mentioned your Inktober stuff earlier, but you could take the ones you have and create a mini PDF, and possibly using that for doing a physical booklet. Just a small thing,
Okay. That's
but
an
but
interesting idea.
launching that on Kickstarter or something just to raise funds for it, and then people the funds they get a copy of the PDF. You raise enough, they get a print copy as well, and so on. But that doing those little things like that, I know it all takes time.
Mm-hmm.
But when you've already got the assets there ready to go, and it's a case of formatting and then putting them together and then filling out a Kickstarter launch campaign,
Right.
that's when you think it through logically, that's only like 2-3 days work,
Mm-hmm.
really, for that sort of thing. You're not going to have to spend the next several weeks creating all the artwork. But again, it'll earn you a bit of income, and the other thing is it gets your name out there and gives you something to post about on social media and just get things rolling again.
Right.
And it's taking advantage of the work you're already doing or have already done.
Right.
So it's not just
Okay.
because the thing is to you, it's old stuff that
Right.
you've done, you've moved on.
Yeah.
But it's old stuff that you can utilize to boost your career.
And is there
So you
any
got to.
would there be any like legal issue for me doing that if like there's like Spider-Man drawings in there? Is that like a is that like a
I'd
gray
say
area?
essentially no. It is a grey area, but generally, unless you're raking in tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands from it, it'll just go under the radar. And you see stuff like this all the time where it's middle range small product
Mm-hmm.
projects, and what actually happens, it gives you a good fan base, and half the time, rather than somewhere like Marvel suing the artist, they end up hiring them because what? Yeah, if
Yeah,
if you're just doing stuff, the thing is, you're not creating specific Spider-Man products which are ripping off the IP.
Mhm.
You're not like doing a Spider-Man style scarf which you're selling on Etsy and you're
Right.
shifting tens of thousands of them.
Right.
It's anyway, Etsy would
Okay.
probably automatically flag it anyway and take it down. So yeah, right. So oh, that was the other thing. Going back to your website, do I still have your? I'm still sharing a screen. So website,
My
blog.
blog is dead. I know.
Yeah, I
I don't want to
noticed.
talk. I'm aware.
Yeah, you.
I post like
I'd
once
get
a
into
year. It's terrible.
get into the habit of doing mini updates for the sake of it. Add it to your workflow. Make it easy to start off with. Think you just 20 words, an image once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep it really simple, and you'll find the more you do it, the easier it gets. And your blog's good for your SEO, people finding stuff via Google and finding you that way. It gives you something else to post again on social media. It's just the more content you're creating and leading back to your online hub, which essentially is your website, the better it is for you.
Okay.
As we know with like Twitter and stuff, social media can get screwed up.
Yeah.
So, but if your
Especially
website gets screwed up,
where
that's just down to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I can't read my own writing. Oh, that was it. I know we're going to talk about your self-published comics later, but obviously it just felt like your Orp. Is that how you say it? Orp?
Yeah.
Orp comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've just got the one publication
Yeah.
on there at the moment,
Yeah. I can
but
for now.
no, it's fine. I would just again, I'm asking you to do more work, but just try and expand it. Like having a small PDF 3-page comic or something, just a really short story, or just something which a 3-panel comic which you can sell as a print, but do it under the banner of Orc Comics.
Okay, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, and just it's the not letting things go too stale, and just keeping adding to your archive, adding to your own IP,
Mm-hmm.
and not letting it just fall too far behind. Because the thing is, it's okay to have old stuff and an archive of things, but generally, if you're going in a shop anywhere, especially in real life, if you never see any new products,
Right.
you kind of feel like they're going out of business slightly, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's that you kind of lose faith in them. But if you're regularly adding odds and ends, even if it's something small, it keeps people interested,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you need, because you need to keep that fan base alive. So when you do have, say, a new Spaceman and Bloater comic, or a new trade, or something like that, you've got the fan base ready to leap on it because you've kept their interest, and they haven't fallen off or gone and completely forgotten about it. But keep it easy and simple for yourself. Don't set yourself the momentous task of creating a new 50-page trade comic, which is going to take so much effort that you're completely exhausted and fed up with it by the time you've finished.
Right.
So you do that in the background, but you keep the small things going in the meantime.
Right.
Even if it's stickers or a nice little pin or something like that, just anything. And it's even better when you can do it on demand and you can create the product yourself. Hence why I mentioned about having your own printer.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something like that. it's relatively inexpensive, although you've probably not got the space
I
for
mean,
it
I
if you're
can
doing
make
everything
space
from
for
your
it.
bedroom.
I can fit
Well, no,
plenty of
but
stuff.
I'm saying as well, like pin the plastic pin badges.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you get a lever and you pull those onto a metal back.
Hmm.
Stuff like that. You could have a little collection of character pins.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, rather than big metallic custom cut ones, just the little plastic ones, just fun stuff, or anything. Start if you get all those little things, start a little fan club and
Okay.
send them a pack when they join. It's yeah, all you just gotta build it. It's
Right.
and keep it going. Which I the thing is, I'm going to keep pestering you because I love the actual stuff you do. It's just you don't have the
I
business side down yet.
No, I don't. But I think what ends up happening is like, especially so part of this also is that people keep hiring me for comics, which is
Yep,
fine. I like doing
yep,
comics, but they are very time intensive for me. I'm not good at, like, it can take me, you know 2.5 work days to finish a page, right?
yeah,
Sometimes more depending on what's on it. And so what ends up happening is I get so focused on finishing that because I have to stick to the deadline. But then by the time I'm currently in a little bit of a respite, but then I'm also doing, like, I have, so this yeah, this book,
yeah,
I'm like, that's getting translated into like Greek and Croatian. So I've been like doing those not like myself, but like copy and pasting them. And so I've been like doing that, and then it's just all the little stuff usually gets, as you can see, gets away from me because I'm focusing so much on the big stuff.
yeah. I know,
Yeah.
but again, it's organising your time better and seeing it all as your job rather than the commissions just as your job and the other stuff, the stuff you do in your spare time, because that's the thing. All these other bits, you're investing in yourself
Right.
and you're building a sustainable business because when you're 100% reliant on the commissions, you're at the beck and call of whichever client has the funding to pay to commission you at the time. Whereas expanding that, as you know, you expand it and you're then selling directly to customers.
Right.
So it's yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I was. Have you ever met Brian Allen in real life?
No, not in real life. I think
No,
we've
because
talked about it.
you're
We're
both
both in.
based
We're
in
both.
Philadelphia.
Well, we're not in Philadelphia. I'm in. We're like a few hours away from each
Oh, okay.
other.
I always forget how
Yeah,
big
yeah, no,
America is.
yeah. Pennsylvania is like, I've also never been to Pittsburgh, which is on the west side of Pennsylvania. I'm in Philadelphia. It's like an 8 hour drive almost, or like
Yeah,
it's like 6 hours to get, like, he's not that good. He's closer than that, but it's, yeah, it's quite a couple hours. Yeah, it's big. But no, I've never been in
yeah,
real life. But yeah, he's much better at this than I am, for sure.
yeah. But he when it must have been going back 6 7 years ago now.
Hmm.
I had a similar conversation as I'm having with you now with him, and I kept telling him he needed to start doing his own products. He needed to start selling prints, um, and he was going on about golf discs and stuff like that. But he had absolutely no faith in it at all, and he thought it was a waste of time to start off with because he didn't have those instant results which he was expecting.
Hmm.
And I told him he needed to just keep at it, and he's happy now because it's half of his income every year, sometimes more, from just the merchandise that he sells.
Wow.
And he's got people on subscriptions for the golf discs, which he's done really well out of. And I think he does reasonably well out of the. I can't remember what they're called. The backs on pinball machines.
Oh yeah.
But he sells those directly to the public, and he's occasionally he's licensed. He's paid for the license to specific characters to do that with certain things, and but he's built up quite a nice business from doing that. And I think primarily as an illustrator these days, you need to do that
Right.
to if you really want to earn a decent living from it.
I think there's a. I think probably a targeted approach. I need to like prioritize what, because obviously, like I think what's happening is you're right about a lot of this stuff, and thinking about doing all of it feels very overwhelming. So I think if I pick some of it as higher priority,
Yeah, yeah. Well, you do a minimum
mm-hmm.
that you're comfortable with,
Yeah,
but just you add it into your timetable and you treat it like a commission job,
right,
where you give yourself a deadline, and on that day or that hour of that day, that's what you're doing. And that's the other thing. I really struggle with this when I'm coding, when I'm writing really complex loops in PHP and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
Um, you don't want to stop in the middle of doing that.
Right,
But it's habit building. It's I'm for you it's penciling for 2 hours, and then you've got to do something completely different for another two,
right,
and then you've got a free hour after that, which you can maybe go back to one or the other. But it's knowing how to split up your day,
right.
because it's not practical running a business focusing on the same thing all day long, because it's a long day. But and when you first start switching between things, it's really difficult. But I'd say your brain kind of just switches after a couple of weeks, and you don't have a problem with it anymore. Yeah. Okay. The other thing is, I don't know whether you do this. Do you make sure you have regular breaks?
Yeah, no, I mean, I
So
so generally what my day is. I mean, it's been a little bit more hectic recently, because of having to. I mean, the beginning part of my day recently has been trying to find a roommate. But
yeah. Well, yeah.
but generally, I try to get up around like 7:30, 8 o'clock, take a shower, and then I'm at my desk. I break for lunch at like 1:30 or 2, go back to my desk and work until 5 or 5:30, and then I take a walk, and that's usually my day. Um, I sometimes if I have to, I'll try to work a little bit later. But I've been trying to do that just for my own uh, mental health situation,
Yeah.
some especially since of the cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I try to. I'm pretty regular about that. It's the idea of switching while I'm trying to get a page done seems a lot harder than if I'm working on like a single illustration.
Yeah.
If I had like one illustration to do, fitting everything in. I honestly, comics is the problem. That's like really the problem right now. Is that
Yeah.
I it won't get done. Like if I don't spend the time I spend on it, it won't get finished. Like I know that.
Okay.
Like it'll get
So
finished, but it won't get finished in time. Is the problem.
okay. I'm going to suggest
Mm-hmm.
at least I'd start off with, I'd say 40 minutes,
Okay.
but kind of guessing what you like, I'd say at least every hour,
Mm-hmm.
take 6 minutes off,
Okay.
set a timer. And the thing is, that 6 minutes, don't go sitting on your phone. Do some stretching, walk around, or something like that. You'll find that 6 minutes feels like an hour, because your brain will be telling you to get back to work. But what you will find is, when you've done it a few times, you'll start being so much more productive, and you'll use that time in between the breaks a lot more efficiently. And it will you'll find you'll have more energy at the end of the day. Because I know when I sit through for hours on end trying to work on problems or trying to get things updated, it's so exhausting and it's so draining. But if I remember to take regular breaks at least once an hour, even if it's a few minutes,
Mhm.
it makes such a difference. And so many freelancers like us, you get fixated and you really focus on what you're doing, and hours disappear at a time. But
That was the
those
main thing I noticed is when the
yeah.
project stopped, I was like, "How was this day so long? It feels like it's 7 o'clock, but it's like 2 p.m."
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I said. When you first start taking proper breaks, even if they're 5, 6 minutes at a time, they feel so long.
Yeah,
And you look at the clock, you can see the seconds moving. It's just not real.
yeah.
Um, right. Da, 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 da. So, okay, right. I'm onto your social media accounts.
Uh-oh.
You probably don't update stuff as much
I
as you
haven't. Well,
probably
so
should.
no, I don't. And a lot of that, I mean, yeah, it's been very Facebook is, I mean, I so actually Facebook I have almost stopped using entirely.
Okay.
Um like I'm not the most I've used Facebook is in the last month when I was on Marketplace trying to find people to move into my apartment. Um that was mostly because I was trying to stop myself from getting into Facebook arguments, and also because my when the second season of Raising Dion came out,
Yeah.
technically I'm still an admin on that Facebook page, um,
Okay.
which means that when it
Yeah.
came out, I was getting like 900 notifications, which was also
Mm,
very stressful for me because I'm not credited in the show, and so it was like,
yeah.
so that's I ended up just like logging out, and then I haven't really gone back. But I
Okay.
think my Instagram posts to my Facebook maybe a little bit.
No, that's what I was gonna suggest, making sure that's set up so it automatically
Okay,
posts what you put on Instagram. It just
it
keep
might be linked to my
again.
personal
It's
page. It might be
yeah.
linked to my um, not my illustration page, which is going to be linked to my illustration page.
Oh yeah. No, it looks like it's posting all your Instagram and your reels and stuff here.
All right, I'll switch that.
Oh no, actually, it's there's not a lot on here. Am I connected with you? Yes, I am. Because it's got 3 reels from January, but the last one since then is from the 16th of December. I'm sure you've got more recent stuff on Instagram.
Maybe. I mean,
Maybe. I haven't double checked
it's
yet.
been a crazy 2 months, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I've been very bad about posting. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
it seems like the takeaway is I've been very bad about uh, all of this stuff for a couple years at the very least.
No, that's fine. As long as you know it and you note it down somewhere, you know it's something to sort out at some point. The thing is, not using Facebook, you've got 580 followers here, which not all of them will be following you somewhere else. And you're basically leaving them behind by not keeping this updated. And the least you can really do is just make sure Instagram is properly connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, because the thing is, it only takes one of them to make a sale or for them to refer you to a potential client.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost you anything to have all content automatically sent there. Um,
Can you link
right.
to, or should I replace? You know, if you can link two accounts to post.
I don't think you can. Personally, for work stuff, I would still use the Facebook page, the business page, for doing that, because then in the future, if you want to utilize it properly for advertising, you're good to go.
Gotcha.
Whereas you can just, if you wanted to start using your personal Facebook stuff again, you can add personal stuff in there. You can connect with family and everything else, and you can have a degree of separation between the business and the personal side.
Right.
even though because when you're freelance, there's always loads of crossover, but
No, that makes
having
sense.
both makes yeah. Right, Twitter. It looks like you're still using Twitter to a degree.
Yeah, but it's
most,
it's
most,
mostly
mostly moaning about clip art studio. uh,
yeah, it's been mostly like uh, retweets and stuff recently. Partially because I haven't been able to post things because um, under contract, but yeah,
yeah, that's the thing. Always, like I said with the news on Higher share old work.
okay,
Yeah, people have either forgotten about it or they haven't seen it before. And I was saying earlier, it might an old piece. You might feel like you've moved on, but it's still part of your archive and back catalogue of work, and people like seeing that stuff. So it again keeps you in mind,
right.
and it's good for being able to post regularly. I'd say main comment on here is update your pinned tweet. Add something new. Introduce yourself again. Remind people that you're a freelance illustrator. You're open to commissions. This, that, and the other. But when people don't notice it says pinned, so they go
You see
if
it
they're in
from
their
October 1st.
desktop, they see they think, oh, he's not really using it anymore. No point following him.
Right.
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Okay.
And I'd say update your pinned tweet at least every 3-4 months to something a bit more fresh.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got your retweet of the AI stuff. I talk about AI artwork, and I'm sure you do as well, non-stop with loads of different artists and with art directors and agents. But I tend to do it all in private conversations. I resist as much as I can posting it publicly. Any of the conversations I'm having at the time, it just is so polarizing and antagonizes people constantly. And then you have a comment about something, and you have so many idiots that jump on it straight away. So I don't know whether you've posted anything publicly
I
about
haven't. I mean,
stuff and
it's mostly just if I see something like that, I'll retweet it. Um, but I mean, I haven't really made. I mean, I've made public comments in the sense of like I don't like it. Um,
yeah,
I did an interview with my friend's very small podcast where we discussed it, and I tried to be kind of amicable about it because he's a friend. But I was, he's a tech guy, so we're on kind of like
yeah,
opposite. We're on somewhat opposite ends of this. Um, but no, I mean there are people like I don't. I don't think he's part of Higher Illo, but he's Corey Brickley. You know who that is?
no, yeah, you'll have to send me a link.
Okay. So he's like I think they use they them, but Corey is a very talented illustrator, does cover work, all that kind of stuff, but is very
Okay.
actively, uh, maybe less so now, but was very like posting about it constantly, like in a similar fashion to like John Lamb, who was also like doing like the whole create don't scrape thing.
Yeah.
But it has. I mean, at this point, I'm not as scared of it because it can't do sequential as well yet. But
No.
also, like
No.
I checked and I'm like not in any of the data sets, probably because I'm not posting enough, and so no one cares.
Probably.
But yeah,
Yeah, you lucked out through neglect.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Right, where were we? So yeah. Yeah, Twitter's just again getting back to it. I noticed you've got a few different things going on with your avatars and your cover photos.
Yeah, that's
Um,
got yeah. It was I need to change it. I need to
That's all
change it
right.
back. But yeah, the avatar is very old. Also.
Yeah, the thing is just unifying your different social networks, so you're using the same one on all of them. So it's boosting, it's pushing your brand identity.
Okay.
So thinking again from the business side, if anyone goes to any of those, they'll know it's you
Right.
as your yeah you
I
as a
think
business.
yeah, I think I use that avatar on most stuff except for Instagram for some reason. I'm not sure why I
Okay.
chose to have like my face on Instagram. I think maybe Facebook also. But yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, but the other thing, your online stores, any other profile you have online,
Hmm.
again, unifying it all.
Right.
That doesn't mean sticking with the same one forever, but when you change it, you change it across the board. Yeah, so you treat all of your social network as just your social networks, rather than this is that, this is that.
Right.
It's all the same thing. Right, so I'm going to keep calling it Twitter because
No,
it's
yeah,
calling it X.
it's Twitter.
Calling it X
I'm not.
just sounds stupid.
No, it's not. I'm not calling it X. I refuse.
Yeah, fair enough.
Until they make it so that typing in Twitter makes it not go to Twitter, then I'm not.
I know. The thing is, you can put in x.com with the bit of the URL afterwards, and it works. But
Yeah,
since I don't know why they haven't redirected everything to there, it's
it's yeah.
it's kind of yeah, it's such a mishmash.
He should be having one of these talks with you to unify
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that'd go well. Uh, right, so I don't really need to talk about with you about whether your portfolio is coherent. Because it very much is, and you look at any of your pieces, and it's obvious it's by the same artist. The only thing I'd say is when you're doing more of your splash pieces, where it's not sequential, where it's a single overall piece,
it. Hmm.
working your signature into there more
Okay.
in some way. I know you put your URL on a lot of social images. That's not your URL, but you
Yeah.
do utilize that. But I think adding to your branding aspect, um, having your signature hidden somewhere in the artwork in some way allows people to examine your pieces and identify the artist.
Okay.
And it allows even pieces that have orphaned, where other people have shared them, not credited. It allows it to be worked back to you,
Gotcha.
and signature does that really well. And that's a good way to do it. Even if it's one you want to design and then just stick as a layer each time,
Right.
rather than drawing fresh.
Like a stamp or
It's
something.
exactly like that. Saying that really, because you do have a nice signature on a lot of your sketch work, and when it's your personal pieces or when it's fan art you're doing,
Hmm.
but then you tend to drift away from that when it's certain other pieces.
Right.
The thing is, there's no reason not to do that as well with commissions.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
if you do it and it works with the illustration, it's very unlikely the client's going to turn around and say, "What's that doing there?" Because it's part of the artwork rather than you putting your branding on it.
I actually had one. So when I did the Archie covers, the art director, I sent him the first cover, and he was like, "Put your signature on there." I was like, "Okay."
So yeah, exactly. But get into the habit of doing it with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to an illustrator the other day, and they're very their work's really good, but they're very design orientated.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. We post about them quite often. Ego Rodriguez. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, lots of queer stuff, and
Hmm.
but his old work very bright colours and very splashy. But he wouldn't put his signature with certain pieces because his response was that it threw off the balance. Yeah,
I mean, I
and
do
I wasn't
understand
quite.
that from an artistic sense, but yeah. Like depending on
Yeah,
what the signature looked like. But yeah, no, it's something that no one else is gonna feel other than you. So
exactly.
yeah,
It's yeah, you just got to bite your tongue and just do it. You kind of forget that um, you're running a business as well, so it's putting your name on the work. It's
right.
connecting things to your business. And oh, there was I was talking to some students on Mastodon about the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they were constantly told by their art teachers for fine art, "Do not sign your work; it looks crap." Except, and they questioned it because they wanted to, and basically the art teacher was telling them that no one does it, and it's not acceptable. But yeah, hold on there, like
Yeah,
look at
that's
any of
especially
like,
in fine art. That seems actually
I
really
know, I know,
interesting. Like
I
that's
know.
that's
But
very
there were
popular.
several of them that had the same response, and all of their art teachers had told them the same thing. I really didn't get it.
That's
But if you
crazy.
look at all of the Renaissance artists and all of the classics, all of their work is signed.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the signature's bigger than the artwork.
Yeah.
It's, especially if you look at all the surrealists.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
Okay.
get into the habit again of making sure you do that.
Okay.
Right. Where are we? We're on Instagram. Have I got any other notes about Instagram? Yeah, that was the thing. Your Instagram, your overall, your content that you're posting on here, you probably don't even think about this. It all looks really good. But what you're not doing enough is you're not reminding people that you're an artist for hire. You're not really selling the products you do. I say that as I go over one of your things about a sale on Threadless,
I mean, that was
but
from a while ago, but
yeah,
yeah.
but skimming through, there's a lot of your. It looks like you're purely creating content for the viewer.
Okay.
So all you're doing is you're doing Instagram a favor because they're collecting data on you, they're collecting data on the users, they're selling their advertising, and you're not getting a cut of that. But
Right.
you're creating all this content that you're putting time and effort into, which you're not utilizing their platform to produce a proper income for yourself. So more often when you get back to the habit of using Instagram more, all of this stuff's great, but always every so often every fourth fifth post at least have it be about you and that you're a freelance illustrator, this is what you do for a living. You're not say like some of the other Instagram profiles which are popular like Pixar artists where they post their sketchbooks and the stuff they're working on and everyone just eats that up and they love it, but it's all great content and gets a lot of views and people follow them and artists admire that sort of stuff. But what they're forgetting is these Pixar artists,
Have a job.
they have a full-time job. They're posting this stuff on Instagram for fun
Right.
and that's what they're getting out of it. Whereas they're being paid a full-time wage by Pixar to not do that. So you gotta keep all this stuff in mind and keep you reminding yourself of it because it's easy to fall into this sort of habit when you see other artists doing this who are popular and get lots of likes, get lots of views, and it's yeah, it's just you're gonna have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put these notes down for you and send you a
Okay.
super long email with all this
No, it's
stuff
fine. I
listed.
mean,
Yeah,
I think I don't disagree with anything you're saying. Um,
yeah,
I'm I'm processing it, but I don't disagree. I mean, I can see everything that you're talking about as solid advice. It's a matter of implementing it. So
yeah.
I'll have to take some time and kind of like you know
That's the thing. Have you ever done yourself a business plan?
oh my god, not in a while. I did at one
No.
point, like, but I mean, honestly, that's part of why I emailed you about this in the first place because it's one of those things where like 2019 to now is feels like a year and a half to me. Like everything has just
Yeah.
gotten so far away from me between COVID and cancer treatment and having to like try to stay up to date with everything that of the work that I did have. And suddenly I'm going to be 35 this year, and I was like, oh, this is bad. like, like, um, so that's definitely a part of it, and it's yeah. I mean, it's a matter like I was starting to. I felt like even just like looking at the page with like the Inktober stuff by 2019, that was the third year that I had been freelancing and like making a
Yeah.
decent living, right? And so like I felt like I was like, oh, I'm on a good trajectory, and then everything kind of not didn't fall off a cliff, but I definitely have stagnated in terms of like
Yeah.
so except for the brushes. The brushes are like the one thing that I've done that have actually done pretty well considering how stagnant I am. Like I still make about like maybe $1,000 a year passively from that. Which is
I was hoping you were going to say a month then.
a month would be amazing, but I'm saying considering that
Yeah.
I'm not pushing it, I'm saying considering that
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's just sitting there, it's still. And the thing is, I made one post about the brushes on Blue Sky like a couple weeks ago, and it shot up again. So like,
Okay.
and now that was actually the other thing that I've been doing in between stuff is I've been doing more development on that, which I actually really like making those. So I think
Okay.
that's been, which is it's the response to that was surprisingly good considering, um, at least comparatively to everything else. Where like I've made t-shirt sales and stuff. It's like maybe $5 a month, if not even a month.
Yeah.
$5 a year sometimes. I don't.
Okay. So with the brushes, make sure every so often you do an illustration
With them.
and make a big point that you used your brushes and they're available here, rather than obviously the kind of the advert posts work,
Right.
but people, artists, which you're essentially selling them to, tend to latch on to the artwork.
Yeah, they want to see it.
And if you can show people what is possible with them, it's people buy them because, especially illustrators starting out, because it's something to aspire to. I know Kyle T. Webster,
Yes.
who worked at Adobe.
Mm-hmm.
He got hired by Adobe essentially for the brushes he created, but a lot of the ones that he sold well was through demonstration.
Okay.
So yeah, mate. Yeah. Let me just note that down. Right. Other thing with Instagram, which I don't know whether you've considered or not, or whether it's something you like or despise doing, but custom portraits. So I don't know whether it's something you've ever thought of. No.
I don't love doing it, but I mean, I could depending on how good the money would be.
Well, I think it'd be reasonable for you to be selling just head portraits for $60 to $90 a pop. But for that sort of money, I wouldn't be expecting you to spend more than 45 minutes to an hour on it. So it depends. It depends how fast you feel you can do stuff like that.
I think I'd have to practice.
Yeah.
I'd have to like, but that's not a bad idea. But I'd have to like reacquaint myself with doing that in a quick way.
Yeah, I feel
Maybe just
I feel you
for a
could
picture and stylizing it, like just drawing.
maybe possibly. I feel you could yeah, doing the maths, you could get yourself set up, have a schedule where people can book us, but you have a certain number of slots. People could book them. You have 10 available, and you could do 5 a day over 2 days. And so, what would that be? If you're charging 90 for each one, that's $900 for 2 days' work. I don't know how that fits in with your kind of page rate on what you'd normally do.
I mean, my page rate is my page rate is high considering what the comics industry is, but it's not
Yeah.
good. I mean, like I am, yeah, I'm not. That's another part of the problem. Like if I were making what, I mean, if anyone working in comics was making what we should be making, we'd be in a much better spot. Like I'm spending the time for sure. Like if I were charging hourly, like I should be getting like $800 a page, which is that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like I'm not Alex Ross. No one's gonna pay me that. So like it's either
I think he gets paid more than that.
oh yeah, no for sure. He
Yeah.
probably gets like 3,000 a page or something. But like I mean I'm not I'm in a position where like if I can get like the Professor Nimble stuff, I the last one I did I got 600 a page, which is better than normal. It's better than getting
No, that's
200 a page.
that's a good rate for a comic book artist.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
but
I'd say you're you're higher. The quality of your work is higher, a lot higher than mid-range comic book artists.
mm,
So yeah, you that price is probably about right for the general how the market sees
yeah,
comic book artists at the moment. So you're not really undercharging or overcharging for that stuff. It sounds about spot on.
I'm it's a little bit less for like Necromancer. Binary C I got paid. I only had to do inks. I think I got 365 the page for that, and then Necromancer the samples he paid me 365, but I took I think 250 a page. But
Okay,
I'm co-creator on both of those. So like, and there's we have like an IP
so
thing. So
yeah, so that's good.
yeah,
So, yeah, so you again, it's investing in your own IP to a degree, which has more potential in the future.
yeah.
Uh, duh, 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 Yeah, got all that, got all that. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do technically, but there's not a lot on it. I think I have. Uh, I don't have like a dedicated URL. I mean, I do, but it's not my. It's not like slash my name or whatever.
There we go. Oh, how do I mute? There it is. Got it. Turn you back up now. Uh, yeah, the same stuff you're posting on Instagram, the work in progress stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd get it shared on YouTube as well. Again, it's just keeping the content going.
Okay.
It doesn't take much effort once you've got the content to upload it to multiple platforms. You'll find just doing stuff like that, your subscriber count will slowly grow,
Okay.
and it's just getting you more eyeballs on your work.
Even if it's not like any voiceover or anything, just like you think just like time lapse stuff is fine.
Just time lapse, yeah, it's fine.
Right.
A lot, especially on people's phones, people watch stuff without sound all the time.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just tapping into those different markets because the different platforms, different people use them,
Right.
and yeah, you gotta get your stuff out there as everywhere you can, really, for that sort of thing to draw people in. Especially if you with like your brushes and so on and stuff like that. When you've got your own products, and if I can convince you to start doing prints and other things, which if
I'm
you're
not
doing
against
yourself,
doing that.
you're
I apologize if I seem resistant to anything.
oh
I'm
no
just
no
curious. Okay.
I get it completely. It's just it's different from commissions and it's different from this that and the other.
Right. I
It
think
doesn't feel like something you should do.
I think I've gotten I think I mean pricing is maybe debatable, but I think in terms of like my workflow for working with clients, if that were like a slider in an RPG, like that's pretty well developed, and then everything else, as you're pointing out, is like you know base level. Not even. It's just like completely been forfeited to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's a good, good
Uh,
It's just staying on
right.
top of it all at the same time. It's like staying on top of it.
Sorry.
It's just I have to be better about staying on top of all of it.
Well, yeah, it's getting back to writing yourself a fresh business plan,
Yeah,
writing your targets, even if that's I'm planning on earning X amount this year,
right. That's
and then
probably
it's
the that's probably the first thing. I'll do it this weekend.
yeah. After you find a new roommate,
Right. Yeah. Hopefully.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Although if you can increase your income,
well, that's so that
that
was the other part of it. That's the other part of it too. I mean, like, so the roommate that we had, it's me and two other people, and the roommate that I had is not a freelancer, but got is younger than me, is like 25, 26, and had when they moved here 2 years ago, were working at Whole Foods, and then got a job working in like the archives at an art school, and then recently just got another job, which I don't totally remember what it is, but it's paying them $60,000 a year, and they're like, okay, well, I'll get my own apartment now. And I was like, man, I am that was like a weird like wake up call where I was like, oh, things can change in
yeah.
not like like immensely large amount of time. Um, so yeah, that's
I was just thinking as well. Are you adverse to doing comic conventions, stuff like that?
I'm not in theory. I
Okay,
was waiting to do that until I've been still more or less isolating largely because I haven't been
gotcha.
sure
Yeah,
what the treatment schedule is going to be. But no, I definitely want to do that. I might even in August. Um, the writer of Necromancer lives in Massachusetts or Boston, um, and I think Emerald City Comic Con. No, that's Chicago. One of the Comic Cons in Massachusetts. Depending on where I am treatment wise, I might uh, go to that, which would be fun because we would be tabling together with the
cool.
Necromancer book. But no,
Okay.
that is actually a thing that I've been thinking about. Of
Yeah, you're gonna need to make sure you got something to sell then.
well, yeah, exactly. That's the
Yeah,
point. It's like I would like to. I mean, yeah. There's lots of stuff that I would like to do. It's managing to not
yeah,
just want to like to do it and actually doing it. Uh,
yeah. We mentioned about the business plan, so it's setting your targets, but the important bit is writing down a thorough list of how you are going to get there,
right. It's
and
not
it
just
all it
question
all
mark
has
and then money.
yeah, it all has to make sense, and you need a logical path through it. But it's the thing. Don't look at it as a whole. Break it
Mhm.
down into chunks, little, easily doable chunks,
Right.
and then just one thing at a time, and just keep going. Um, how's your branding?
Probably that.
Let's. Where are we? Yeah, I think you could probably do with a actual logo, a nice logo for yourself.
Something other than the
Um,
JP together.
yeah, what you've got along the top here just like looks like it was thrown together for the sake of
Oh, weird, because it almost was.
it.
You're
Yeah,
reading it as
well,
it looks. Yeah, no, you're right. That's correct. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Going back to your branding, this is you keep reminding yourself that you're running a business.
Right. It's.
You
I
you
mean,
might you might be the only employee, but it's not you. It's a business you're running.
I think Ryan Barr. I think is much better at this. Like he has that one signature that he uses,
Yeah,
and he had a similar thing where he was like probably around 2019 was going through a similar position, um, and then had I think one of our friends gave him similar advice, uh, and he like actually took the advice and did something with it.
Was that you saying I'll think about doing these things?
No, no, no. That was me saying that my you know my my lack of follow through is my own fault, right? Like it's
Yeah,
not. It's I forget what it was. What maybe last year that we had the other conversation.
yeah, but we were mostly just talking about comics on that, weren't
Right.
we?
And to be fair, I have taken that advice. Like I've been thinking about it, but I haven't done anything because
Okay.
I haven't done. I mean, like I haven't done anything publicly. I've done a lot of stuff on the back
Yeah.
end.
So, do you want to know the best thing about this portfolio review?
Yeah. What?
Is normally with the reviews, I
Mhm.
follow up with a 10-minute call about 12 weeks later.
Oh.
So the last thing you want to do is get to that 12-week call, and you sit there. It's like I've not actually done anything.
Mm.
Yeah,
No, that's good
I know. I know.
to know. No, hold me accountable. That's important. Um,
Yeah,
or hold myself accountable. Uh,
I've done dozens of reviews now. It's like I've only had one illustrator so far that's happened to where they've just
oh no,
well, they've
going to
just
the
done
second
nothing.
one.
But they were unbelievable. They missed three portfolio reviews to start off
Mm.
with, and then I finally got to talk to them, and I feel to a degree it wasn't their fault, but they're so stoned all the time. Their artwork was really good, but I didn't feel it was their fault because they're ex-military, and
Okay,
I think they were dealing with a lot of PTSD.
sure. Yeah.
So I was quite forgiving with all of that, but it just I could have another call with them in 2 years, and I think they'll be in exactly the same position.
Oh,
I
that's
just yeah,
yeah, but like
which is fine. Just some people are like that,
yeah,
but there's only so much I can do.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
You're not above
right.
it. Well, I mean,
Conversations
I
I
would say a
have,
little
you
bit.
think, yeah, right. Okay. I think we've got through all the questions. We've got through all the notes. So, did you want to talk about Spaceman and Bloater at
I
all?
do. I also had one quick question, which
Yeah.
is when you're looking at my portfolio, I know you're saying most of it looks pretty consistent, but are there any pieces that you think I should remove? I'm always really bad at like knowing what to like what is still relevant to keep and what isn't. Like obviously the newer work is, but I'm never quite sure.
Okay, I'm just opening a few of these up and getting rid of some other windows. I feel that would be a better crop on that one.
Just going down to okay,
Down to the guys where there's more contrast. It kind of the thumbnail it disappears.
okay. Yeah, I was debating on that.
Yeah.
I think I have to
Uh,
switch it out. I think I have the process video. Oh, I think I'll add the process video at the bottom. I thought I had.
okay. Let's close some of the other ones down. Okay, so right. So definitely the homepage. I think showing some larger thumbnails showing some work in context. So rather than just the artwork, showing
Right.
the finished product.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like this Spider-Man piece,
Mm-hmm.
but it just doesn't feel as strong as some of your other work. As far as Spider-Man pieces go, the other Spider-Man pieces you have done,
Mm-hmm.
they feel more dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah, this one especially. It's
That one's gotten reshared so many times.
yeah.
I'll get tagged by like a random fan account
This one, the Holiday Spider-Man. It to me, it just feels like the same Spider-Man
that
that
everyone.
everyone does.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that one's not strong. This one shows your skill, kind of doing info kind of type sequential work.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but
Weird.
I think it feels a bit it feels a bit boring
Okay. I mean, it
as
was
a
at first.
homepage piece. Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you're going to have a thumbnail from that, the last panels
Okay.
are the most dynamic, interesting ones.
All right.
What else we got? No, I think most of it works generally well.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it was just those couple pieces that didn't feel as strong as maybe some of the other work.
Okay.
I think overall, you may feel a bit differently once you start rearranging the homepage a bit more.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I I wouldn't. That's the thing. You've got a t-shirt section here, but
Yeah.
just if people aren't reading what it says, you're just looking at all the images. You're not. You don't. It's not obvious they're for
It's the in
t-shirts.
context thing.
Yeah, which I think will make a big difference.
Okay. I think I do have them like if you open it, but yeah, it should be more apparent.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You need to remember that people skim.
Right.
People don't tend not to click through too often, or they don't look at the details. The thing is, you won't notice that as much because you know the details because you've been quite intimate with a lot of these images. So you're yeah. I know it's a lot of illustrators. They they're drawn to all the imperfections and all the little mistakes they made, which no one else can see at all.
Yeah.
And if colours are slightly off, that's the first thing they see. So they're not looking at the work in the same way a client would.
Yeah, my mom's terrible with getting mad about colors. Um, not re- she's an artist too. That's I don't know if you have
Yeah.
any context. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, no. I recall you told me about that
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. I'd maybe homepage. Take your best 9 to 12 pieces, have them featuring on your homepage. Split all this stuff into separate galleries,
Okay.
into separate pages. A page for each. So a page, t-shirts, storyboards, illustration, uh, and comics. And from your portfolio, have a drop down where people can get to each of those individual bits.
Can I?
Yeah, Rob.
Can I? Is there's a way to like work on the back end without messing up the current site, right? Like I did that before when I built this one. I think. Like if I like
Yeah,
like
you
not live editing it, like you did. Yeah. Okay. Just
yeah, you can do them all as draft pages before you switch it out. You can preview all of it.
okay.
Yeah. If you need a hand with any of that, or there's something that seems amiss, just give me a shout.
All right.
I really don't mind helping you out there. Uh, yeah. We got sidetracked again. You asked me a question. What was
Sorry.
it? Oh, it was no. It was what pieces you didn't feel was as strong as others. Yeah, basically those couple odd pieces. It's mostly good work. I'll I'll look through your site as soon as I get the time and try and give you kind of a snap decision on what I consider your top 10 best pieces.
All right, that'd be awesome.
I'll try and put them in order as well, from 10 to 1.
Okay,
Uh,
thank you.
that's all right. And if you don't mind, I will create that list and ask a couple other people as well, who I know, what they think and how they think the list works. Kind of to make it more generalised rather than too specific to my own taste.
Sure.
Because that's the thing. I try to look at the work in the way it's designed, the angles that are used, the colours, what stands out, what doesn't stand out. But it's easy when you're looking at stuff too long to get drawn in by the different characters, because people have their favourites and they don't. People are put off by certain ones.
Right.
I know one client. It doesn't matter how good Darth Vader pieces. They're shit scared of the character. So so they'll just not working with that artist, staying away from them, staying away from that piece. That's it. So, but you see what I mean? Like some people, it goes beyond just the artwork.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously I like Batman and Spider-Man and those, but I try to look at it subjectively without that encroaching. And sometimes I ask other people because it helps to have a second opinion, even when it's you giving your opinion.
Right. Yeah, that's totally fine.
What was the other question? Oh, yeah, no, we're the comic. Right, let me close some of these down again. Where are we? So you were thinking about changing the name, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Based on our last conversation. And some other things. So yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where I keep pushing it off and being like, when I have time, right, rather than making the time to do it.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is because I'm setting my sights too high, as you might have thought. So I have like a couple of scripts that are more like full length, which is like at this point not a feasible option for me to do. I mean, I could try to crowdfund it, but I wouldn't be able to do that quite yet. Like I would need more of an audience before I think something like that would be feasible. It's interesting that you mentioned the strips idea, like the comic strips, rather because that was actually like a couple months ago. I had that same thought of like, oh, I could just like do like a 6-panel thing, almost like Calvin and Hobbes style.
Yeah,
with those characters, which would be a lot more manageable. It would be a thing that I could do, and it would also allow me to get to know the characters and kind of experiment. And the same thing for anyone who was reading them. And I thought about doing that on like a webtoon kind of situation, but I have that was more just an ephemeral, more like, oh yeah, I could do that. I didn't like give it any real investigation. And then the title itself, because of what you had talked about, and because of the fact that the title is not very descriptive, really, it's like a thing of it's a holdover, right? Like I came up with the idea in college, and I just kind of never questioned it after that. And the idea has changed a lot since that. So I think Starset Delivery was the one that has seemed to be the most approved of, if that's like the correct word. But,
yeah.
People seem to like that, at least like the friends that I've asked, because it at least gives some kind of orientation to what the deal is with the book. I guess.
Well, yeah, I thought that one made the most sense,
yeah.
And it is a good name, and it's catchy, and it's easy to remember.
Mm-hmm. And I could do kind of like I had this is kind of maybe a little weird. I had a dream like last year where I was like seeing it, but it was in kind of like a like 50s style, like modern,
Yeah.
like there was like a more graphic element to it. And I feel like excuse me, I could design the logo that way where it has kind of like a retro feel to it. Because his design is sort of retro. I mean, yeah, there's lots of justifications for choices, but
Yeah, so you're thinking more modern retro, or you're
I
thinking
don't know. I
retro
mean,
retro?
I think I have to play with it a little bit to figure out what fits. But I think the idea of I think the strips is at least like a comic strip situation is at least manageable. It's like a thing that I could fit in. You know, even if I was doing like one a month, right, to start or something. Like
Yeah,
that would be something that I could work on between other stuff. Um, and it wouldn't feel as risky as like I'm gonna make a 20-page book and like maybe people will read it and maybe they won't. Um, so yeah, I don't know.
yeah. No, keep it manageable, and
Yeah,
so the targets are achievable, and you're not overworking yourself with it.
yeah.
I would also make sure to add to your work schedule maybe an hour a week,
Mm-hmm.
where it's where you have that hour, just that one single hour,
Right.
which in the whole week isn't that much,
No. Yeah.
where that's allocated and dedicated to just doing development work.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Something is better than
and
nothing.
well, yeah, and you have to force yourself that hour that's set aside. You're not allowed to do any other work,
Right.
re- regardless
Because
of
I'm the client
deadlines.
in that
That's
situation.
Yeah, exactly. That you're commissioning yourself for that, and that's it. That's what's happening. Yeah, I know it's so way too easy to slip on that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and you miss it once, and you think, oh, it's not that big a deal, and then you say, oh, it was okay last week. I'll skip it this week as well. Just
Like
yeah,
going to the
just
gym.
exactly like going to the gym. I've started going to the gym again.
Okay.
In my leg, yeah. I went yesterday morning. My legs hurt so much.
Yeah, I'm
I
looking
got
forward to that again.
I got a personal trainer where I do one session with him a week, and he's evil. He just
And you're paying him money. Yeah.
I know, and like for 3 or 4 days afterwards, my back hurts, my leg hurts, I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I do it, but I do know after a few months it'll get easier.
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know whether you yeah. I suppose you don't go to the gym at all at the moment, do you?
Not now. I mean, I'll like do a little bit in my room, but that no, I don't
Yeah.
go anywhere. I did. I mean, that's the other thing is like when I was, I don't know if there's any connection to this, but in from like 20 like late 2018 to until 2020, I was going like basically every day, except for maybe
Okay.
weekends. Um, and that's what I was doing after work. And then I just never felt I haven't felt comfortable going back yet because of
Fair enough.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean I want to. It's definitely like you'll I'm sure the pattern you're noticing. There's a lot of stuff where I'm saying I want to do this, I want to do this, and it's just a matter of yeah. It's just been very the last couple of years have been a lot for various reasons.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah. Work yourself out a schedule and for work and other odds and ends,
yeah,
but make sure so you're not overworking yourself. You leave an empty hour either at the start of the day or at the end of the day. So that's where you can catch up with things you may have missed or didn't have time to do,
mm-hmm.
or if you feel you've had enough for the day, that means you finish an hour early so you get your rest in because it does pushing yourself every day. It does accumulate. My voice is going all croaky. Hold on, just grab some water. Yeah, I think the name that I think you'll probably go with will work well for the comic.
Okay.
I mentioned about your covers as well.
Yes.
The ones that you had done, you've done better work for commissions and posters and stuff that is more character focused,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you really need to bring to the forefront. The ones you've done for Spaceman and Bloater, they're an interesting design, but they're not captivating in the
Right.
same way as some of your other work. So
So
that's what you need to think
so
about.
so that was actually that was also a thing that I wanted to ask you, which I might have mentioned in the email. I don't remember. Um, and also, this is up to you because you're the one that's been taking it to the shows. If I made as like a little bit of a test, if I designed a new cover for the Belto Cavern one and I changed the name to Starset Delivery, would you be willing to make a couple of those and see if people respond better to that?
Yeah,
Does
yeah,
that seem
sure.
like a decent
Well, that's,
idea, or is that
I'm pretty sure. No, I'm pretty sure they would. The thing is, the ones I have sold in person, it's where I've been talking to the customer or got them to look at the actual comic.
okay?
People I would have thought would have been interested at them had glanced at them, but then carried on.
Right.
I think that's where it's not enough of an instant draw.
Okay.
It doesn't have that it doesn't have that thing where it sells itself on the shelf,
Right.
which is what you're lacking at the moment.
Right.
Which is it's kind of it's a difficult thing for me and you to do because well I know you are doing quite a few, but we're not doing just cover work day in day out.
Right.
So it's kind of the thing that you need to learn, and when you're doing it all of the time, it becomes natural. But when you're not doing it all of the time, it feels forced, and it feels like you're um, shouting at people rather than subtly showing them your artwork. But that's what you need to do, and you need to feel comfortable with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But the thing is, if you go in any comic shop, I don't know what you have over there. We've got Forbidden Planet over here.
I've got like three within walking distance.
Yeah, the thing is, you're looking at the things on the shelf, and all of the things are screaming out at you to have a look at them.
Right.
And the thing is, half the time you'll pick up one that has a brilliant cover, you'll look inside, and then you'll put it back on the shelf because it's not the content isn't great, but it's still got you to pick it up.
Right.
Yeah, you've got the
I've
opposite
got the
problem where
inverse.
you've got the really good content and the interesting story, but you haven't got the draw to get people to get to that point.
Okay. So so if I design a new cover and a new logo, at some
Yeah.
point we could try swap. You would be open to trying to swap it out, seeing if that has a better response.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
What I'll probably do if this happens this year is it will probably I would probably just sell exclusively online UK
Okay.
and leave you to do whatever else
Sure.
as hard copies. I think we're only doing one Comic Con this year if we get invited back to it,
Okay.
and we're passing on I think Thought Bubble and the other one we did. And I can't remember the name of, and then we're probably going back to doing them the year after. Yeah, the thing is, Thought Bubble's so expensive.
Oh yeah.
It's yeah. Obviously there's the cost of the table, which is not too bad, but accommodation and food and stuff for
That's
that
what's been
weekend.
stopping me from doing a lot. I mean, even
Yeah,
prior to COVID and stuff, like that was because so much.
yeah. Well, just not including the cost of the table or the production of merchandise and everything else.
Right.
I think it's $600 for the weekend. So that's just for the room we're staying in and the food we eat. And it's exhausting. And I don't know about you, but I like going out to have a meal somewhere, but not every night.
Oh yeah, no.
And there's not any practical supermarkets to go and grab a quick snack there.
Right.
So it's a bit too indulgent, and it feels like a waste of money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've only ever done like 1 day shows, I think.
yeah.
Like I've done like yeah, I've done like quick little ones.
Yeah, well, we're there from the Friday until the late on Monday, so it's a long weekend.
Hmm.
Yeah, plus, well, no, I suppose for you, I'm saying plus it's a 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive for us. But that's
I mean, that's still a
that's
lot. I mean,
it is a lot, but that's half our country. If we go any further than that, we'll be in either Scotland or
I
Wales.
I drove 24 hours over the weekend
Oh,
once just to get to Texas to see my one friend,
yeah,
and I that's only halfway across the country. That's not even
I know. I can get easily to you in that time period.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm yeah. Oh my god. I mean, but I am thinking like going up to Boston is like I was trying. I was like, I don't like planes. I'm not like I don't hate them, but I'm not a huge. I don't love flying. So I was like, is there a train? It's like yeah, it's like 8 hours. I'm like that's ridiculous. Like it's just it's not. There's no like I'll just I guess I'll just fly if I have.